Have you ever felt that quiet rage when someone treats you poorly? That growing discomfort inside when people act as if you have no value? I understand. I've been there too. But today, I want to show you something more powerful than anger, more effective than confronting them head-on. I want to share 8 Stoic attitudes that can completely transform the way you deal with those who try to belittle you. These aren't silly tricks or manipulative tactics. They are profound ideas, tested by time, that change not only how others perceive you, but, more importantly, how you see yourself. If you're tired of letting others dictate your worth and are fed up with situations where you don't know how to respond, then this content is for you. Get ready to understand how to earn respect without raising your voice, how to stay strong even when you're disrespected, how to overcome those who attack you without resorting to fighting, and, most importantly, how to reclaim your dignity once and for all. Let's start with the first attitude. Learn to not react immediately. Pay attention, because what I'm going to share could change the way you relate to people. The first important step to gaining respect is knowing how to hold back your reaction. In a fast-paced world where everyone expects quick responses, your greatest strength is to remain calm, focused, and composed. When someone tries to irritate you or throw you off balance, your thought-out silence becomes your best defense. Many believe that reacting emotionally is a sign of strength, but that's a grave mistake. Every time you explode or respond without thinking, you hand over control of your feelings to someone else. You become someone easy to understand and manipulate, and those who want to unsettle you know exactly which buttons to press to achieve that. Imagine a situation at work. In a meeting, someone makes a mocking joke about what you did. Everyone looks at you, expecting you to blow up. It's in that moment that your self-control becomes your greatest asset. Instead of falling into the trap, you stay calm, maintain eye contact, and choose not to engage in the game. Stoicism reveals a powerful truth. Your real power doesn't lie in retaliating, but in staying composed even under pressure. It's like an ember. The more you blow on it, the more it ignites. But if you leave it alone, it extinguishes by itself. This approach alters everything in your relationships. When people realize they can no longer affect you, that you remain steady, they have to change their strategy. Your silence speaks louder than any response. And don't think that this calmness is a sign of weakness. On the contrary, it showcases an inner strength that few possess. You begin to see the situation more clearly, allow the emotions to settle, and then act in a way that aligns with who you truly are. True respect doesn't come from shouting or thoughtless reactions. It emerges when you remain strong in adversity, think with a clear mind, and act consciously instead of merely reacting impulsively. This attitude requires practice, awareness, and a lot of willpower, but the results will show. You stop being someone who constantly reacts and become someone who, just by being present, commands respect. People will think twice before trying to provoke you because they'll realize they can't mess with someone who has self-mastery. In the end, the art of not reacting isn't just a way to resolve conflicts. It's a way of life. It helps you navigate the storms with strength, self-respect, and a type of power that no one can take away. It's a way of living that teaches you to handle the ups and downs of human relationships with grace and dignity. This is the starting point for a lighter life, where you are no longer controlled by provocations but instead by what you choose to feel and do. Second attitude, use silence as your best tool. The second great strength you can leverage is well-thought-out silence. Never underestimate the power of staying quiet. Often, that's the strongest response to someone trying to undermine you. Think about it. In a world where everyone speaks loudly to be noticed, where people feel the need to explain themselves constantly, your silence becomes a powerful message that speaks louder than any speech. This silence isn't from someone who feels defeated. It's the silence of someone who has total control over the situation. When someone tries to provoke you, all they want is to see your reaction. They expect you to defend yourself, to retaliate, to lose your cool. That's their goal. But when you choose to remain silent, steady, and calm, you completely disrupt their plans. It's like a game of chess. While the other person fidgets, talks endlessly, and tries to confuse you, you observe, think, and stay in control. You stop reacting. You start planning. This well-placed silence not only confuses those trying to hurt you, but also reveals their weakness. While they exhaust themselves attempting to get under your skin, you conserve your energy, posture, and value. It's as if you let the enemy fight with the wind until they tire themselves out. But be careful. This isn't a muted silence. It's a silence filled with intention. It's the silence of someone who doesn't need to prove anything, who is so secure in themselves that they don't need to explain themselves every second. This attitude sends a direct message. Your provocations are so trivial that they aren't worth my time. Over time, this way of acting will also change how you think. You'll begin to realize that your worth doesn't depend on rebutting every attack or winning every argument. Your strength comes from within. It comes from your ability to remain steadfast even when someone tries to throw you off balance. Well-executed silence becomes your personal trademark. People will recognize that they can no longer provoke you with empty comments. You become the type of person who, just by staying quiet, commands more respect than many who shout. This shift completely changes the game. Instead of being someone who reacts, you become someone who controls the situation. Your silence compels others to think twice before speaking or acting. Use this silence as a smart tool. Let others expend their energy trying to provoke you while you remain calm, focused, and in charge. It's a way to demonstrate strength without saying a word. The true power doesn't lie in what you say, but in your ability to stay silent when everyone expects you to explode. When you master this skill, you gain one of the strongest ways to earn respect without raising your voice. Third attitude, recognize your own strength. Now let's talk about a force that changes everything, independence. It's your ability to stand tall on your own without relying too much on others, emotionally or financially. This inner strength becomes the foundation of the respect others will have for you. Look around you. Many people live trapped in some form of dependency. They constantly need attention, money from others, or the opinions of others. They are like plastic bags in the wind, carried by any criticism or praise. But you can be different. Being independent means knowing how to keep going even when times get tough because you trust that you can rely on yourself. It's not arrogance. It's a firm confidence that comes from experience and an understanding of who you are. Think of a ship in the middle of a storm. It doesn't need an anchor to stay steady because it was built to withstand the rough seas. The strength is within it. When you become more independent, everything around you changes. You no longer cling to people who don't respect you, nor do you settle for scraps just to avoid being alone. You choose who to connect with, not out of desperation, but out of genuine desire. You stop swallowing toxic relationships out of fear of being alone. You begin to take care of your time, your energy, and your connections with more attention, not out of despair. And the most interesting part, this strength leaves those who try to control you with no options. Old tactics, like emotional blackmail, peer pressure, or veiled threats, lose their power, because these people realize that you don't need them, and that changes everything. But understand this well. Being independent doesn't mean shutting yourself off from the world or rejecting help. It's about having that deep down certainty that if everything goes wrong, you can still move forward. It's like knowing you have a solid backup plan that gives you peace to proceed in your own way. With this, you learn to set clear boundaries, without guilt. And as this strength begins to grow within you, others notice. They see someone who doesn't fold, who doesn't beg for attention, and who knows what they want. This firm presence commands respect effortlessly. People are naturally drawn to those who aren't desperate for company. Over time, your strength becomes your trademark. While many still chase after the approval of others, you become that solid person in the midst of chaos. Trustworthy, but impossible to manipulate. This independence acts as a shield against disrespect and games. It's your quiet way of telling the world, I am complete just as I am. You choose who you want to be with, not because you need to, but because you truly want to. And this strength needs to be nurtured, fed, and trained every day. Because when you truly understand what it means to be self-sufficient, you find a freedom that few people know. The freedom to be who you are, without needing to ask for permission or prove anything to anyone. Fourth attitude, put what truly matters first. This next way of acting has the power to completely change your life. It's the ability to focus on what really makes a difference. We live in a time when everything tries to pull our attention, but your strength doesn't lie in doing more things. It lies in doing what truly matters. Your greatest power is in keeping your mind focused on your goals, even amid the hustle, distractions, and pressures from others. Take a moment to think. How much of your day is spent solving other people's problems? How often do you find yourself caught up in trivial situations, wasting energy on things that lead you nowhere? This constant confusion is a sign of weakness. And worse, It's a weak point that many people know how to exploit against you. But when you learn to concentrate truly, like an athlete ignoring the noise around them and only focusing on the finish line, you protect yourself and grow stronger. This attitude goes beyond just managing your time. It's a way of viewing life. It's learning to say no, firmly and without guilt, saying no to tasks that don't help you, saying no to people who drain your energy, saying no to distractions that pull you away from what's important. Every time you choose not to get lost in trivialities, you show something powerful. You are in control of your time and your choices, and that confuses those who try to control you, because they are used to dealing with people who drop everything just because someone asked. But you stay resolute, focused, determined. The most intriguing part is that this attitude naturally attracts respect. People are drawn to those who know where they want to go, who don't get lost in noise or meaningless hustle. Your clarity becomes a quiet leadership. Your dedication to your plans brings a peace that comes from within. Because when you stop trying to do everything at once and start focusing on what truly makes sense, you find a calm that few people know. It's a shift in mindset. You stop living in reaction mode, catering to others, and start living guided by your own dreams. And this change becomes evident. Those around you notice that you are no longer someone who chases after everything. Now you are someone who chases after what truly matters. Everyone around you will notice. Something in you has changed. Start right now. Discover what truly matters in your life and cut out without remorse everything that takes you away from it. This clarity will become your signature, your silent strength. People will quickly understand that they can no longer string you along or distract you with trivialities. This new attitude sends a firm message, even without saying a word. You know where you're going, and no one will pull you off that path. This way of acting is a type of power that no one can take from you because it comes from within. It doesn't depend on luck or the approval of others. It's a strength that arises from the certainty you hold in your heart. Prioritizing what truly strengthens your life is a daily choice and not always an easy one. It takes courage to say no to what distracts, to what drains your energy, to what only takes up space without adding value. But every time you choose the essential, you distance yourself from chaos and draw closer to your true direction. This decision, silent yet firm, shows that you are taking your journey seriously. Comment below, I choose to focus on what strengthens me, and make it clear that you will no longer waste energy on what doesn't help you grow. Now back to our lesson. Fifth attitude, time is a silent teacher. Now let's talk about one of the most overlooked yet powerful tools you can use to your advantage. Time. In an age where everything is urgent, where everyone wants results yesterday, those who know how to wait and act at the right moment gain a tremendous advantage. Look at nature. A century-old tree doesn't appear overnight. It grows slowly, facing strong winds, heavy rains, and difficult droughts. Yet it remains sturdy, with roots that grow deeper. That's how you should view time, not as an enemy that slows you down, but as a silent ally that strengthens you. We live in a hurried world where people are always rushing, skipping processes, making impulsive decisions, and later wondering where they went wrong. Have you noticed how many of our biggest regrets happened when we acted without thinking? Words spoken at the wrong time, promises made in the heat of the moment, decisions that felt urgent, and then we realize we could have just waited a little longer. Patience, when well used, becomes a superpower. But be careful. Being patient doesn't mean being slow. It doesn't mean letting life pass you by. It's having calmness inside and control over your choices. It's like a martial arts master who doesn't react to the first attack but waits for the exact moment to act. And when they do act, it's precise. When someone tries to pressure you, provoke you, or disturb your peace, and you maintain your tranquility, it confuses them. They expect you to lose your cool, to respond impulsively, but you don't give up that control, and that calmness gives you an advantage. While they wear themselves out, you grow from within. Use time to think before you speak, to observe before you take sides, to understand better before you act, and most importantly, to mature, because some answers only come with time, some wounds only heal with time, and some opportunities only arrive when you're ready, and that takes time. When you begin to act this way, everything changes. People start to see you as someone more centered, wiser. You stop being the person who chases after everything and everyone, and become someone who chooses where to invest their energy. And that's powerful. It shows that you value your time, and those who value their own time become valued by others as well. Think of the times you rushed and ended up getting hurt. Now imagine what your life would be like if you had just waited a few more days or thought twice. Time gives you perspective, and those with perspective have a better chance of getting it right. Living with this awareness completely changes how you handle life. You stop being pushed around by others and start moving at your own pace. Moreover, you begin to see problems as lessons, not as punishments. Every challenge becomes a chance to grow, and every delay turns into an opportunity to prepare better. This way of living sends a clear message to the world. I don't act out of desperation. I choose calmly. I know how to wait. And this attitude shows strength, not weakness. It shows maturity. It demonstrates that you're not just here to survive, you're here to thrive with wisdom. Sixth attitude, the importance of setting boundaries. Now let's talk about something many people avoid, but which is essential for living with more respect and dignity. Knowing how to establish firm boundaries. If you don't show where people can go with you, they will simply invade your space. They will take your time, abuse your goodwill, mess with your emotions, and all of this happens because you left the door open. Imagine a place without signs, without rules, where everyone does what they want. The chaos would be inevitable. The same goes for your life when you don't communicate what you accept and what you don't. Without clarity, others will push forward. Setting boundaries isn't being rude or insensitive. It's a way of saying, I know my worth. It's like erecting an invisible fence that protects your inner peace. And that indeed is a sign of strength. And be prepared. This will upset many people, especially those who were used to taking advantage of your kindness, your easy yes, your lack of reaction. Some will test your boundaries, others will simply disappear. And you know what? That's good. Those who are bothered by your limits never truly respected you. The people who don't accept your no are the same ones who counted on your weakness to benefit themselves. When you start saying enough, they reveal their true colors. They will try to manipulate you, make you feel guilty, create drama. But this is when you must stand firm, because when you protect your space, you begin to value yourself, and that self-worth changes everything. Every time you say no to something that hurts you, you say yes to your mental health, to your energy, to your well-being. You reconnect with what is important to you and stop living just to please others. Over time, others will begin to notice that you have clear rules, that your energy has value, that your time is precious, and they will think twice before asking for something outside your limits. This creates respect, and respect is the foundation of any healthy relationship. But be careful. Boundaries cannot be flexible all the time. If you change your mind every time someone insists, it becomes just a suggestion, and those who live by suggestions end up being taken advantage of. The secret lies in consistency. State what you accept and stick to it, even if it hurts at first. This attitude transforms you. You stop being someone who always says amen to everything and become someone who commands their own life. Someone who makes decisions based on their beliefs, not out of fear of displeasing others. Think of the situations where you left a meeting, a conversation, or a commitment feeling drained, disrespected, or uncomfortable. In all those situations, a boundary was missing. And every time this happens again, see it as an alert. I need to assert myself better. And the best part, this change improves everything. It boosts your self-esteem. It enhances your friendships. It enriches your relationships. Because those who value you understand your limits. And those who don't will leave on their own. And that cleansing is necessary. Your boundaries are your silent way of telling the world, my peace has value. My energy is not for sale. My life matters. Protect this with determination, firmness, and courage. Because in the end, what you are defending is not just your space, it's your happiness. Seventh attitude, speaking the truth clearly. This is undoubtedly one of the most powerful attitudes you can have in life, and yet, it's one of the least practiced, being truly honest. And I'm not talking about that honesty filled with embellishments, indirectness, or fear of hurting feelings. I'm talking about being clear, direct, and truthful. No beating around the bush, no pretending, no trying to please everyone all the time. Just look around and you'll see. Many people live surrounded by lies. They hide what they feel, make excuses, pretend to be happy, act like everything is fine when it's not. And worst of all, they lie to themselves. They live in a character. They wear a mask to be accepted, to avoid discomfort, to prevent conflicts. But living like this is exhausting. It tires the soul, drains the mind, and saps your energy. Being truly honest is different. It's looking in the mirror and saying, "Yeah, I messed up." It's having the courage to apologize without over-explaining. It's admitting that you failed but are willing to fix it. This requires guts. It requires humility. But it also shows strength, because most people run away from responsibility. Do you know what the magic is? When you take the initiative and speak the truth before others point it out, you disarm any criticism. Who will accuse you if you've already acknowledged it? Who can manipulate you if you have nothing to hide? The truth sets you free. When you are transparent, no one has power over you. But there's an important point. Honesty is not synonymous with rudeness. Some people use the excuse of being honest to be hurtful, to wound with harsh words. That's not truth. That's a lack of empathy. The way you communicate makes all the difference. A truth spoken with respect builds up, while the same truth said in anger tears down. If you're going to give a compliment, do it wholeheartedly, with sincerity in your gaze. If you're going to provide criticism, speak carefully, with the intention to help. People can sense when you're sharing something to contribute versus just to belittle. Being honest is also difficult because it forces you to look at yourself truthfully. You'll need to confront your flaws, fears, and mistakes. You have to admit that you're not always right, that sometimes you hurt others unintentionally. But this exposure is what makes you human, and it's exactly this that creates respect. Authentic people are rare. In a world where many live behind facades, those who are genuine stand out. And you know what else? They gain trust. Because when someone hears a difficult truth but sees that you are sincere, they begin to admire you. They start to trust you more. They know that even if they don't like what they're about to hear, at least they will hear the reality. Living this way is liberating. You don't have to remember the lies you told, nor do you have to maintain multiple versions of the same story. Your conscience remains clear. Your energy stays pure. You sleep peacefully. This attitude will impact everything. Your friendships, your relationships, your work life. Because trust becomes your trademark. People will notice that with you, there's no pretense, no acting. There's clarity, there's truth, and that is worth more than any skill. Eighth attitude, take full responsibility for your life. Now let's talk about something that might feel uncomfortable at first, but can completely change your life. Truly accepting that the responsibility for what happens to you is yours. It's natural to want to blame the outside world. It's easier to place the blame on parents, bosses, the government, an ex, bad luck, or even the past. It's simpler to say, "My life is like this because of others." But when you do this, even without realizing it, you're handing over your power to others. You're saying you have no choice, that you're at the mercy of circumstances, and that's dangerous. Taking responsibility for your life doesn't mean that everything that has happened is your fault. Of course not. Many bad things may have happened to you without any fault of your own. The point here is, what will you do with that now? You may have taken a hard fall, been betrayed, gone bankrupt, or faced tough situations. But what defines what comes next is your reaction. You decide whether you will spend the rest of your life stuck in pain, or if you will rise and use it to grow. And that decision is one no one else can make for you. This mindset changes everything. When you realize you are the protagonist of your own story, that you don't have to wait for the world to change to start acting, you break free from inertia. You stop feeling powerless and begin to act with purpose. You start thinking, what can I do now to improve my life? And that's revolutionary. This kind of stance can be frightening at first because it's a blow to the ego. We like to think we're right, that others are getting in the way, that life is unfair. But the truth is, much of what holds you back today depends solely on a choice you make. Change can be painful, but staying stagnant is even more painful. When you start taking charge of your life, you may notice that some people will distance themselves. Those who only complain, who play the victim, who prefer to blame the world rather than take action, they won't feel comfortable around you anymore. And that's okay. Let them go. Because those who are truly ready to grow will come closer, and these new connections will help you go further. Own your steps. Own your mistakes. Own your choices. Even those that went wrong, because it was you who chose. And if you made the wrong choice before, you can choose differently now. The important thing is to keep learning, improving, adjusting. Deep down, you know that no one is going to come and solve your life for you. There won't be a savior, a guardian angel to set everything right. Things only start to change for real when you decide to get up, shake off the dust, and make it happen. And you don't need to wait for a Monday, a new year, or some massive crisis to make that decision. You can do it today, right now, because the sooner you take control, the sooner you will reap the rewards. If you enjoyed this content, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Here we talk about real growth, about transformation grounded in reality. And there are other videos popping up on the screen. Choose one and continue with us on this journey. And comment below, I will live with truth and responsibility to show that you're committed to this change from the inside out.